Hey, welcome everybody to the Real Tommy Unleashed. How do you like my new intro? I love
I
it.
love it. I
I
love it,
mean,
Tommy.
yeah, thank you so much, Kimberly. Before we get started with the Real Tommy Unleashed show here at the IQ Podcast Studios in beautiful Coronado, California, at the Attorney King Studio Building, I want to thank our sponsors, of course, Attorney King, Apur, Suk, Sequan Casino. I can do this sometimes. And IB Fitness. Thank you, Marina. We love you, girl. And today, I've got somebody great. I've been waiting to get on for a while. As you know, I being a veteran and working in the entertainment industry, I tend to lean towards having veterans on the show who help create the magic, have overcome all kinds of obstacles. They create the magic, they create the music, they make it happen, and you get a look on the inside of what goes on. And today, I'm so blessed to have Kimberly Seilhamer as our guest. She is a core leadership team member with Veterans of Media and Entertainment, and also a senior instructor with them. And I've been her student. She's kind of been my mentor, I'm very proud to say. And she has a new Kindle Vella out on Amazon, Four Gallows, that she's going to talk about. Upcoming project, and she's going to talk about how she got to where she is. Award-winning director, producer, screenwriter, you name it. She makes the magic. And Kimberly, hello.
Hello, Tommy. It's so great to be here. Hi, everybody.
You can't hear them, but they're all saying hi, Kimberly.
No, that's great.
So tell us about you. Tell us, you were a Marine. I guess it's once a Marine, always a Marine. I was in the Army, and now they're saying once a soldier, always a soldier. I think they stole it, but whatever.
Yes, they totally stole that from the U.S. Marine Corps. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I was in telecommunications with a special category, top secret clearance. It's called top secret CCAT, and I dealt with message traffic that came on to the general and made sure there were no security violations. So that is where I really learned my attention to detail, which is something you really need in the movie business as well. So
Definitely.
it's proved to be very helpful. Yeah, and
Yeah.
uh, and then I got out and I was a bartender for a while. And a single mom. And at one time, I was working three jobs. And when I got my bartending job, I got to quit all the jobs except for one, which was a really great job. It was with the school district and just bartend because I was in a
Mhm.
Marine Corps town. I made so much money in tips.
I
I
bet.
mean, my bank account was flush, and it was great. Of course, that was when I was in my early 20s. We can all rewind back a little ways there.
Yeah, really.
Haven't seen those days in a while. But and then I decided to take some college classes, and I signed up for a music composition class, which I rapidly found out was a terrible mistake because they were talking about how we were going to have to write this mini symphony, and I couldn't read
Oh,
music or
wow.
anything. Yeah, I don't play an instrument anymore. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I promptly dropped that class and searched for another one to take. And really, there was only a few classes available. One of them was a screenwriting class. I didn't really know what it was. And I signed up for it. Anything writing, I'm down for because, when I was younger, as a child, I used to write a lot and read a lot. I was a very prolific reader. And if you would have asked me back then, like in the fourth or fifth grade, or even in the eighth or ninth or 10th grade, I would have said I wanted to be a writer. And when I joined the Marine Corps, I tried to get into journalism, but of course,
Hmm.
they made false promises to me.
No way. Really?
Yeah, can you imagine? They
No, I
said,
don't get
well,
it.
yeah, they're like, we'll try and get you in there. We'll try our hardest. And then, of course, that never happened. It never manifested. But that's okay. I found it later again in life and was reinvigorated to start writing. 20 minutes into the first screenwriting class, I knew that is what I needed to be doing with the rest of my life. And so since then, I have 4 feature writing credits, television movie credit, and some credits in shorts. But as writer and director and producer in all
Mhm.
of those things. So yeah, it's hard work, but you just you stay the course and you try and stay optimistic. It seems like it's either a feast or famine type of thing. Like there's years when I'm just in development, and so I'm not generating a whole lot of cash, and then there's times when it's time to take those projects out or shoot them or whatever like that, and then all of a sudden, then you flush again. So
Oh, right.
it's it's yeah, I do it because I love it. Like if I wanted an absolute steady paycheck, I would, go work at the library or work for the government or, you know, um, do something that was a 9 to 5. But really, that's just not me. And so I cannot stop my creative mind. It's constantly working. And so if
Hmm.
I didn't have a place to put that energy, I think I would just lose my marbles. I'm serious.
No,
So
I
I think
totally
about, go
relate to
ahead.
that. I totally
Yeah,
relate to that.
yeah.
And that,
I think about story all the time.
yeah, I think, I don't know if it's with us have been veterans, we gain that insight into our observation skills and, like you said, the attention to detail. And I'm forever looking at different things, thinking, okay, how's this going to play out? How? Oh, that's interesting. I got to remember that. Stash it in my back of my brain at some point, and it'll come out. And
Hmm.
yeah, I'm always thinking, wake up in the middle of the night, and okay, I better jot this down because I won't remember it in the morning. And
Hmm.
so that's, yeah. If we wanted to do something and have a steady paycheck, we could do that. Or do we want to be creative and enjoy the ride? I want to enjoy the ride.
Yeah, and like any ride, there's ups and downs,
Yep.
and curves and obstacles, and then there's
Yeah.
also just the beauty of the journey. And when you make it, like I remember when Jack the Reaper, which is one of my probably most popular films, it has
Hmm.
played all over the world. It continues to play. Even, gosh, it's been almost 10 years since we made that movie, and it continues to play. But I remember I felt like, and I had produced credits and everything like that before that, but
Right.
Jack the Reaper was my directorial debut. And I remember when I went to the store and I saw it in REDBOX, like I was like, what? Oh my gosh. And people were taking pictures that I knew from all over the country and sending me pictures of Jack the Reaper in REDBOX. Like it was, it was pretty cool. It was a nice experience.
Isn't it? I've had that happen to some friends of mine. All of a sudden, I'll get a text with a screenshot. We're sitting here watching TV, having popcorn, and look who's in this scene. And I go,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, yeah, your friends. We got great friends,
Yeah.
and that's the other part of the ride. I love is the wonderful people we meet,
Oh,
and,
absolutely. It is a
and
social industry.
very much so. And it's not for the faint of heart or those who cannot network or socialize, because you really have to get out there and talk and relate to people, and it's a wonderful experience. And so it's really got you moving here. And I know you had some personal challenges, and you can talk about those, if you want to. I want to know more about your Kindavella, why you decided to do that, how you how that process works, because I'm sure people will be looking at it on Amazon after the show. And
Okay.
and I know you have a new film project coming out, The Lighthouse,
Yes.
which is a really cool story. And I want you to talk about that too. So this is your time, Kimberly, to wow everybody.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. Wow.
Wow, yes.
No, yeah, I have this episodic anthology series for television that I'm developing right now, and it has several seasons to it, but each season is a different story. And so the first season is called Four Gallows, And this is just in development. It's not been picked
Mhm.
up yet, but it will be picked up, I'm sure. So the reason I decided to do the Kindle Vella is because I wanted underlying intellectual property or underlying IP to the project. Okay, because I know that this is a series that could be very similar to, say, you know, American Horror Story or something like that.
Right, right.
They have a different season or a different series, limited series every season, and yet it's part of the same anthology.
Hmm.
So that's how this anthology series is laid out. I don't have a title for the anthology series yet, so let me tell the viewers a little bit about the series, what it's about, and maybe they'll come up with some ideas.
Okay.
Yeah, so the anthology series is really each season it features a serial killer from our distant past, and it's a character study of why they did what they did, not necessarily what they did. Okay, so we do explore what they did, obviously, because it's based on a true story. Each
Right.
season is based on a true story, but we really focus on what drove them to do that. Okay, to commit these crimes. And so Four Gallows is about Countess Erzsbeck Bathory, who is the most prolific serial killer of all time. She murdered 612 neighbors, one at a time.
Wow.
So over the span of 40 years. Her story is very fascinating to me, extremely fascinating. And so that's what gave me the idea to do this, because there's other characters in history that are very similar to her in the sense that they are serial killers back in like the 1600s, okay, back in medieval times, back in the
Hmm.
Renaissance. So the second season, and they could be interchanged. That's possible too. But the second season is about Peter Schump, who was an affluent German farmer who was a serial killer of, I hate to say it, but he was a serial killer of children. What makes his story so fascinating is that he suffered from clinical lycanthropy, which was not known back then. Nobody knew what it was. But that is the delusion that you're a werewolf. Well,
Mm.
so he believed he was a werewolf. Well, at that time, society also believed in werewolves. So
Right.
when they finally caught him, they charged him with werewolfery, among other crimes. But the big crime was werewolfery. Like that, you get sentenced to death for. And
Wow.
he was sentenced to death for being a werewolf, which is very interesting. Now, the thing is that I know that Erzbeck Bathory, the countess, would have gone to his trial. I knew where she traveled. I know what she did. I know what motivated her, and I know that his trial was quite sensationalized for the time. I know she would have been there. Hence, that is why it can be either the Howling of Bedburg to go first, and then Four Gallows, or vice versa. So, getting back to the Kindle Vella series, Kindle Vella is a new platform on Amazon. So if any of your viewers want to write a book or something like that in episodes, in other words, let's say they don't have the whole novel, they can publish one chapter at a time on Kindle Vella. Okay, and you get royalties and bonuses and all that
Oh,
good
wow.
jazz. But it's a brand new platform in beta, so the only way you can really find it, okay, is if you do a search like this on the bottom of your screen for on your Google or whatever platform you use for
Hmm.
your internet search, Four Gallows, and then Kindle Vella, and then you'll see things come up like links that will come up that'll say something like serial killers, blah 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 blah. Well, okay, that you click on that link, it'll take you. You'll see Four Gallows right there, or it'll just come up with the graphic, like it goes to the images, it'll just come up with the graphic, which is basically, it'll say Four Gallows, and then it'll have a woman's face that is obscured by darkness,
Hmm.
and it's in a circle like that. So you'll see that. But either way, if you just do the search for my name and then, or Four Gallows and Kindle Vella, or my name and Kindle Vella, it'll come
Right.
up. And so what you do there is you read one chapter at a time, and the first 3 chapters are free. So you don't have to pay anything to read the first 3 chapters. Right now, I have 5 chapters live, and I'm almost ready to publish the 6th. So I just started recently doing this. So it's exciting.
Is this like a short story format rather than a novel type format?
No, that's a great question. No, it's not. Each chapter is a chapter in the larger piece.
Oh, okay.
So when you go, you'll see part 1, chapter 1, blood becomes her, right? And then you'll see part 1, blood becomes her, chapter 1. That's the first chapter in this novel, which is going to have about 50 chapters in it. So, and how it basically breaks down is that one act of the screenplay of the pilot, let's say, my pilot for Four Gallows has 5 acts plus a teaser. So one act would equal 1 chapter, and then so the pilot would consist of 5 or 6 chapters.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and then each episode in the limited series is then a chapter on its own.
So basically, yours is set up like a short story with 5 chapters, and then you move into another story of 5 chapters.
No. It's 5 chapters. It still airs that. Then you go into the next 5 chapters, which would be the 2nd episode of Four Gallows.
Oh, okay. I see.
So,
I see.
that goes for 10 episodes. The limited series goes for 10 episodes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So each episode is approximately 5 chapters.
What is your chapter length then?
On Kindle Vella, my chapter length is about between 1,400 to 2,000 words.
Okay.
So it's not hefty to read, like,
Yeah.
It's easy to read. You can read it in 15 minutes or less.
That's perfect.
And so their parameters are that it needs to be at least 600 words, but no more than 5,000.
Okay.
So I try and put mine in the middle of that, because I think 5,000. Once you get into the later chapters, where you might have to use tokens or pay to read it, then if you have 5,000 words, it's just too costly.
Okay. Well, then can you at some point then put that into print?
Absolutely.
When you're done, so
and
you can do a conversion.
Oh yeah.
I love
that. And audiobooks. Yeah.
Yeah, because from the way I had done it with my book, a couple books, is the other way around. I wrote the books and published them and went the audio and that. This seems like a really cool way to do it. You can actually create your book as it's being released. I love that idea.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and like I said, it's in beta. Once it comes out of beta, it's only in the U.S. right now, but once it comes out of beta, it'll go worldwide.
Wow.
So you have the potential for people all over the world to read your material. And what that does for me as a screenwriter is it creates underlying intellectual property, so that if a studio picks up Four Gallows, the series, they can't just purchase it outright. Like there's going to be underlying material, so they can produce that series, but I'll still have to come on as created by or something like that, because of because the material is already existing in other venues, other platforms.
Is there a reason why you decided to start with Four Gallows and not the other one, or?
Yeah, Four Gallows. Four Gallows, I have the most assets for. I have a show Bible for that. I have a sizzle for that. I have the pilot is complete, and I have in the show Bible all 10 episodes are broken down quite detailed. So, it was just easiest for me, and I just to do her.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You find that as a good way also to pitch this for a series?
Absolutely, because what's so fun about this? In a screenplay, you can only put so much detail in there. It has to be, it's very bare bones, as we know.
Right.
But in the Kindle Vella, it's like writing a novel. So I decided that I was going to tell the story from the servant's point of view. Her name is Fifth.
Yeah.
And so she reflects on on Earthset and tells the story of Earthset in 2 timelines. There's the 2 weeks before Earthset dies and the 40 years leading up to that point.
Wow.
So it's really cool. Really
I
cool.
love that idea.
Yeah.
What a great thing. Man.
But you have to like that sort of thing. It's not explicitly gory or anything, but if you're disturbed by, say, a man being sewn up in a horse with his head sticking out, then that probably is not for you. But that really happened. That really happened.
Well, that's kind of a great way to get me hooked to look at it more.
Yeah.
I find that very
really
interesting.
happened. Yes, the guy
Wow.
stole a few chickens from her father, from Earthset's father, and so that's what they did. They hobbled him and then stuffed him inside of a horse with his head sticking out. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
How pleasant, right?
Yeah, no kidding. I wouldn't want to kick him off.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about it. I love it. I hope people do go and check it out. And like I said, the first 3 chapters are at no cost, so you can see if it's for you or not for you.
Yeah, and I want to tell the viewers that I have read the first 3, and it is very interesting. And I haven't as of yet, but I will get the others because I got to see where this goes. And so I encourage everybody to find Kimberly's Kindrevella and take a look at it, especially if you like thrillers and serial killers and those kind of interesting individuals in our world.
Absolutely. And remember, it's a character study, so it's really more about why she turned into that person.
Right.
Than why she killed. It is why she killed, but it's really more not so much what she did, it's more why she did it.
That's an interesting perspective.
Yeah.
So what about your latest film project?
Well, I have a few. One thing I'm doing right now is I'm writing a feature film that I may be looking to direct and produce myself. It's up in the air, but that one's called Wrapped in the Attic, and I'm really excited about that. It has a lower budget, so it's something that's possible for us to do. And then in addition to that, I have a project I'm very passionate about, which is the Lighthouse.
Right.
I actually conceived of this project years ago because as a cancer patient, I've had many surgeries and related to my cancer. And in one surgery, they had to remove half my throat and then put me in a medically induced coma. And when I was in that coma, I was aware of who was with me, who was around. I could hear things and all that. So when they finally brought me out of the coma, I told them, I said, well, I heard you guys talking about this, that, and the doctors were like, no way. There's no way you heard that. Like, no, it's impossible. I'm like, no, I'm serious. I truly did. And so it really got me thinking about that and about my own journey with being a cancer patient. And so I wrote The Lighthouse, which is quite an expensive, it's a short film, but it's quite expensive, and there's reasons for that. But it's about Connie, who's turning 30, and she's having the time of her life at her 30th birthday party. Now, what you find out, though, is that everything that you see in the short film, at the end, you realize was all in her mind. So this is a spoiler. It was all in her mind because she actually is suffering from leukemia and needs a coma. And so throughout the short film, she's getting more and more beautiful, and she doesn't understand why. Why is she getting more and more beautiful? And and she didn't realize they were throwing her a party. It was a surprise party. Everybody she knows and loves is there. She sees her horse from when she was a kid, and the horse takes her up to the lighthouse, and that's where the party's going to be. Hence, you hear many expensive things in there, like her brother who died when he was a kid. He's there too. So it's like children, ka-ching, horse, ka-ching, ka-ching, Lighthouse, ka-ching, 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 right? Like everything is so expensive, but it has to be done this way. That's my
Right.
creative vision. So anyway, she gets up to the lighthouse. They bring out a cake. First there's a song and a band and this whole thing. They bring out a cake and they're singing happy birthday. And when they do that, the lighthouse kind of shines across into her eyes, and you transition into what's really happening, which she is basically in a home hospice bed, and she's on a machine that's keeping her alive.
Okay.
And it's her heaven bound day. This is the day they're unplugging her.
Okay.
And so it's it's a very emotional moment because the parents are there, her husband is there, obviously her brother's not there, but you realize that everything that had happened up to that point was in her mind. And they don't believe that there's anything really going on in her mind, so they decide to unplug her. So before, or they have decided to unplug her. Before that, they have a beautician there that's making her more and more beautiful. And what you find out is that she actually has leukemia, which is a blood cancer, as we all know. And she's in this coma. She's been in this coma for a while. And so the family basically says their goodbyes, and they're about ready to unplug her, and it goes back to the birthday party. And they finish singing happy birthday, and her little daughter, who's 3, leans over, leans closer, and basically says, "Make a wish, Mom." And she thinks about it. She looks at everybody that she knows and loves, looks at her daughter, blows out the candle, and that's the end of the song.
Wow.
You realize she's gone.
That's powerful.
Yeah. So it's a story that, like I said, is very close to my heart. I have a wonderful producing team behind it. Mark Maley, Roxana Lewis, and myself. We're a dynamo team, and we're going to be shooting that next May. We were going to shoot it in October, but unfortunately, I have to have surgery in October because I have more cancer that needs to be dealt with. So, yeah.
I hear that.
Yeah, so that's okay. It gives us a little bit more time. So we will be doing a crowdfunding campaign in September. So if anybody wants to keep up with that, just join our email list on kiloentertainment.com. Or let's see, what's the other best way? That's probably the best way.
Well,
But,
we can share it on our network.
That would be
You
great.
come up with the link, and
that would be
we'll do
fabulous.
that. We'll put it on there so people can just go there, and we can also mention it too. So that keep it fresh in people's minds.
That would be fabulous. Thank you so much, Tommy.
You bet.
We're going to do the crowdfunding campaign in this September, which is the month for leukemia awareness, and it's also the month for thyroid cancer awareness, which is what I have.
Okay.
So, yeah, so it works out wonderful. They're both in the same month.
Are you doing the crowdfunding campaign yourself, or do you have somebody doing it for you?
We're doing it ourselves, but we're hiring Justin Giddings as a consultant to guide us through the process.
Okay, because it's always a question that comes up with people about crowdfunding because nobody seems to know how to do it.
Yeah, he's an expert in it, so I'm hiring him to help us through the process. But let's say we don't make enough money for the film, I'm committed to making it. So,
right.
But we would like to see people get behind the project, and I think it could win a lot of awards and possibly be, we're going to set it up so that it can have Academy Award consideration.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is really awesome. Boy, how long of a shoot are you thinking of having?
It'll be a 5-day shoot up in Oregon, and the town where we're going to have, the town where we're going to have the goes walk through the town, and it's got orange ribbons all up and down the main street of the town. It's a small town. That town will be Florence, Oregon, and then the lighthouse will be Heceta Head, which is one of the most beautiful operational lighthouses that we have here.
Is that's run by the Coast Guard, isn't it?
It's actually run by the Parks and Recreation.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Well, this is going to be a interesting adventure to follow, and we'll have to have you back on the show as you start progressing in it. Because
oh,
I've
that would be
really,
wonderful.
one thing I've found, and I'm sure you have too, is the people we know or who follow us like to know the behind the scenes things, and give little
Absolutely.
tidbits out there. Always is a plus, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And we'll be
Yeah.
having behind the scenes footage, and we'll be very active on social media, and it'll just be a fun project to follow. We are looking to possibly cast a star for the lead, Connie.
Hmm.
But I sent it out. I sent it out to through Breakdown Services, and we got about over 300 submissions for Connie.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What
So,
what is what's the link to your website so people can sign up for your
oh, that's a great,
email list?
great question. It's Kilo Entertainment, KILO Entertainment.com. And
Okay.
Kilo was actually my German Shepherd that I had years ago. And he's just an amazing dog. And ever since then, I've had German Shepherds. Right now, I have three.
Hmm. That's nice. I mean, it's something special to all of us to do stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. So, what better way to honor him than to name my company?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
and I love. Is that his picture that you have on the logo
yes,
too? That's
that's
cool.
him. Yeah, that's him.
That's probably one of the neatest logos I've seen. But
Oh, cool.
I'm a dog guy, so it's like, yeah, it's got a dog in it. Okay, you got me.
Yeah, yeah. No, he was such an incredible dog. I actually
Yeah.
got him because I had a stalker issue,
Oh,
and
okay.
so he was. I was dating the detective in charge of my case at the time, and
Hmm.
yeah, that was funny. Anyway, he got me. He got me Tito. Um, you know, uh, it was one of his leads, I think, that led me to Tito, and I had Tito for about 2 or 3 days. Tito was a police dog that didn't pass muster, actually, because he was just too. I know this was a clean show, but he was just too horny. Let's just put it out there, okay?
Okay.
If a female was in heat anywhere, man, he was like, he was gone. He was after that, and so the police department, they were like, no, this dog isn't going to work out, and so, or the sheriff's department, and so I ended up getting him, and he was there 2 days. And on the second day, I came home with my kids, and he was running around the yard, and I had left him in the house, and I was like, "What is up here? Like he's outside?" I went inside, and sure enough, somebody had come in through the bathroom window, and he nailed them. You could see the evidence all over the place, and
Oh,
you could see his bloody paw prints going up the wall and out the bathroom window.
I don't know.
He
There's
was
a certain
such a
kind of
great
love there.
dog. Yeah, he was such a great dog. Like, and I never had a problem after that. But he
No.
was such a great dog. Like, he was really awesome. And so for probably the next 20 years, I had Tito, or I had descendants of Tito, and then finally his line petered out,
Mm,
and so now I have a new line.
yeah. What's kind of funny? My Mastiff, I've got. He was a dropout kind of too, and
You gotta love him, right?
yeah, and he had he he's got what's like a fear aggression, and
No.
I got him from somebody who was with Homeland Security, and he was 6 months old, and it wasn't going to work out. And a friend of mine who does dog rescue, her husband was a captain with the Orange County Police Department, Sheriff's Department, says, "Oh, I think I know somebody who would be interested." And they said, and it's like, don't ask me if I want a dog. And they seen the picture, and it was okay, yeah, I'll take him. And because before he could go on, he had to get another dog to be trained with, and before he could do that, he had to get rid of Max. And so no, I inherited Max, and he's 140-pound sweetheart. He's scared of people, and so he's not a real social guy, but he hangs on my side all the time, It's like he's a great buddy.
Mhm.
But that's kind of funny, is we both have a dropout of law enforcement. And,
Yeah, yeah.
kind of a
So
little serendipitous there.
yeah, Kilo passed away in 2002.
Oh,
So 20 years ago of bone cancer. It'll be 20 years ago next month. Actually, it'll be 20 years ago. Yeah, next month on Sunday, May 1st.
yeah, that's one of the hardest things, and they never really leave us.
No.
And I totally believe they're still wandering around us,
Oh, absolutely,
because I've had a
absolutely.
few experiences, and which to me confirms that fact. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but moving on here, what about VME?
Well, I love VME. I'm very active in VME,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm on the core leadership team. I also helm with Barbara Otten and Karen Kraft. I helm the Grindstone Pitch Fest for veterans. So
Mm-hmm.
that gives them the opportunity to pitch the Grindstone and Lionsgate. Grindstone is
Right.
a subsidiary of Lionsgate. And so that keeps me quite busy since we're gearing up for another one of those sessions. And then, um, and then I also am the senior instructor for the writing program. I pretty much am the writing program.
Mm-hmm.
I have a writing series called the Enlightened Screenwriting series, and that's actually available to anyone who wants to, you know, contact me. I can give a private session on whatever it is your need is. So, for instance, the
Right.
last class that we gave to the veterans just this month was on logline, crafting the almighty logline. In May, it will be writing the ultimate synopsis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but we also get into other things like creating dimension and character, um, motifs and image systems, how to employ them, what they mean, what they do.
Absolutely.
We also do dialogue, crafting compelling dialogue. That's one of my favorite classes to get.
Mm-hmm.
So I use a lot of video clips and or sound clips and references in my classes, and I think they're the favorite classes in DME. Like of all the classes that DME gives, um, I think those are the most well attended. Are
I
the
enjoyed
writing
it.
classes? Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
yeah.
And
What was your favorite class so far, Tommy?
well, I like the dialogue class.
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing that the two most important ones, I think, though, are uh, creating the log line and doing
Mm-hmm.
your synopsis, because when you go to pitch, those are so critical.
Yeah.
And and that's what I tell people too, when they ask about a log line and they have a paragraph, and try to tell them no.
Yeah.
No, 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 and what to hit. But if unless you're enlightened and actually learn and see the reasons behind that, it's it's so important. If it wasn't for you and Karen and Barbara and that, I wouldn't have been able to get into the Grindstone program,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so important for any veteran out there that wants to write, wants to be a screenwriter. These courses through VME, Kimberly's courses are a must. I mean, you're just you just need them. You really do. You learn so much, and they're so enjoyable. I loved in the dialogue watching the clips. I just it made me go back and actually rewatch the movies and more intently after that. And
Yeah.
the one I went back and I watched actually twice is the Joker,
Yes.
because I had, until we did that crafting the dialogue and use that as an example, I hadn't delved that deeply into that character. And then after that, I thought, oh man, how did I miss all this? It was really great. So
Yes. Yes. And we'll be using Joker is one of my favorite films right now. I know it's been out for a while, but it's so masterfully done. And we'll be using that as our example because it's a very complicated example. He's an anti-hero, so that's why I use it
yeah,
in the synopsis class. So it will definitely show how even when you have a complex character like Joker, that you can still use this sort of, not a template. It's really more of a beat sheet
Hmm.
for your synopsis, so that way you can get everything down in one page,
Right.
and it'll be compelling to read. And so you know it's definitely a process. But it took me a long time to figure out what I felt was the most compelling way to write a synopsis. Like
Hmm.
that took a long time. And um, when I finally sort of undressed what was really necessary in a synopsis to set the scene, to draw the viewer in, what elements were there that you need,
Hmm.
then it became clear to me. Then it was like, oh wow, okay, you do this, that, and this, then you've got a great opening, for your synopsis. And the other thing is that synopsis now that you write can be very helpful for your pitch,
Right.
because it tells the story in a succinct fashion, and hits the broad, the not the broader beats, but hits the more important beats of the story, the core of the story. So, yeah.
Well, that's what I learned when the feature I did, the Haboob Wind. I had when I first did my own synopsis, it was like 4 pages,
Mhm.
and if it wasn't through the VME classes that you did, I would have never been able to tell the same story in 1 page,
Right.
because you learn what to cut out, what not to cut out, and how to be concise and make it exciting.
Absolutely. I'm
And
so glad that was useful to you.
oh, it was very useful. It was I soaked those up like a sponge, and I think a couple of them I think I've even taken a second time, because I figured I probably missed something,
Uh huh.
and it doesn't hurt to keep retaking things, because you can always pick up on something
Right.
that you maybe missed.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
plus, I can
a
sit through.
lot of the ones do take it more than once, actually.
Yeah, I mean it's a great benefit we have being members of VME,
Hmm.
and so and I think from what I've seen, it looks like the attendance has been growing on the
Oh
classes,
yes,
hasn't it?
we're yeah we are, oh, in the classes. Yes, yes.
Hmm.
Gosh, one class, it wasn't this last one, the one before that, we had almost 100 people enrolled, and then we had just shy of that signed in.
Yeah.
But it was pretty incredible.
Do
Um,
you, do you think? I think COVID probably was part of that, because more people took the opportunity to take the online Zoom classes
mhm.
than back when pre-COVID, when if there'd be a class, it seemed to be like in-house. We'd do it at the Legion or something,
Right,
and this opened it up to veterans basically around the world, no matter where they're stationed,
exactly.
and and active duty members and non-active duty members. In fact, out of one of the classes, uh, I had one woman who was a active duty in the Army. When she ETS'd, she sent a email to me, said, "I'm moving to LA, and can I contact you and Peter Dyer to help me, you know, navigate what I want to do?" And I said, "Sure,
Hmm.
happy to." I mean that's the influence that I think VME has on people who are on active duty. They
Right.
see a place where they can go and and create a new persona for themselves and a new career. And I just I just thought it was great. It was just nice to be able to do that.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And I highly recommend that you apply for the Grindstone Pitch Fest again this year. Oh,
Um,
excuse me.
I will. I've got a new feature in mind that
That's
that
wonderful.
that I'd love to pitch. That I'm working on the Broken Road right now, which I know you know, and we've already got the script down. We just did the 19th rewrite on it,
Mhm.
but we're going to be starting to go into working on development money for it. But I have another one that I kind of put on the back burner, and I thought, okay, I'm going to save it for something. I was going to ask you about Grindstone because I thought, what a perfect opportunity to try it again.
Yeah, absolutely. And they
Yeah,
really like you. So, I think that would be an excellent choice.
and
So
it, and
do
it,
look
and it,
for it. It's going to be posted here soon.
okay, great. I will watch out for that. Um,
Yeah. I'm not sure how they're going to do it. I don't know. They may have like classes first, and then so that everybody's ready to,
I
to
I think
submit their stuff. I'm not sure.
that was really a great way to do it because I know I couldn't have even gotten one of the ones picked if it wasn't for the classes.
Hmm.
And and uh, and I made some great friends when we broke into our little groups and pitched to one another.
Yeah,
I mean that was really important. I just
absolutely.
think the whole process, and we kind of forced into it because of COVID.
Yeah.
And I remember when we pitched with Grindstone, it was new for them too
Hmm.
because they didn't exactly, it was the start. We were all using Zoom and the same stuff about, you're on mute, unmute yourself.
Yeah. You're on mute. They're all
Yeah, I
doing
know,
their
right?
pitch. They're
Yeah,
like,
I know,
"Ugh."
I
Yeah.
know.
No
But
matter how many times you try to just do it smoothly, it's like,
yeah,
sometimes you just don't, you forget you're on mute. You start talking and they're all trying to signal at you that you're on mute.
oh, I was in the improv with BJ and I didn't realize it wasn't mute, and I got Max is sitting behind me going roof, 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 and and BJ, he just finally says, why don't you mute Tommy? He says, we're tired of listening to your dog.
Oh, funny.
I know, and it's like, oh yes, yes, I forgot about that minor detail. But
That's great.
um,
Wow. Yeah. So,
is there anything else you wanted to bring up or talk about, or
oh, geez.
other things going on?
Well, I
Oh,
do have a,
talk about your project at the Hollywood Post 43 Movie Awards.
oh, right. The
That was an
familiars.
awesome.
Yeah, the familiars. Thank you.
Yes,
The familiars won a lot of awards that night. It won 5 out of 8. Best
yes,
writing, or best writing, best editing, best cinematography, best director, and best overall film. So we just felt incredibly blessed that occurred. And so now we're taking the film to a whole new level because then we've had to limit it to 10 minutes.
right.
We're going to add about 5 more minutes, and we're going to do what we really wanted to do with the film, which was add a little bit more backstory and stuff to
Oh,
it.
good.
And then, we're going to take it out to festivals.
Good for you.
So yeah, so I'm excited about that. So it's a film about veteran suicide,
Hmm.
very touching film about veteran suicide, and so we'll be looking for people to support it in 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 any way they can. We really don't need that much more money, and, maybe I don't know, maybe $1,000 or $2,000 or two
Yeah, I mean,
thousand
you have to
dollars.
deal with the entry fees and things like
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
So,
And so that I wrote and I also produced with Brian Binkley and Ryan Pratt.
hmm
Brian Pratt was also the director, and it really came together. And for me, I wrote it because I had lost a dear friend to suicide, and it really impacted me. And
hmm
so that's what gave me the idea to write something for him. And it just worked out. Everybody loved the script, and it had some phenomenal talent, and it was just, it was phenomenal.
yeah, definitely. It was a great film.
Yeah.
And it was exciting to see you win all those awards.
Oh, well, thank you, Tommy. And one other thing I should mention is I'm going to be launching a new website
Okay.
called brassbrad.consulting, brass, BRASSBRAD dot consulting. And that is for writers or filmmakers to, if they need services like script consultation
Okay.
or storyboards or Bibles made, things like that. That's the place to go. It's my website. I do it as time permits, but it's a great resource. It's a way to kind of get me on board stuff because I usually don't come on board things very easily.
Right.
So, it's a way to do that. And I get very invested in my client's projects. So, yeah. So it'll be
Yeah.
launching here pretty soon. Probably, I don't know, probably in June.
Okay. Well, make sure you give me the information. We'll put it out, too, so
Okay, great,
people
Tommy.
can see it, because we want to support those of us veterans who are in the entertainment music industry, and that's what we call this, is entertainment news show.
Yeah, well, that's the
And
thing is I don't. Oh, go ahead.
and it's a different take on some other things, and some shows, they deal with the pitfalls, and it kind of started out that way, and then I just thought, no, we gotta be show all the good things, what happens behind the scenes, what keep people interested, get their minds off of things, and this is a great way to do it, because to me, I've always been a movie buff. I've always loved how things are made, and
Absolutely, yeah.
I know there's other people out there are the same way
Hmm.
as well. And I was going to tell you, it's kind of funny that how you mentioned how you got into this, because it was like when I initially went in the Army, what I thought I was going to be, I didn't end up being. Uh, they talked about, I was 17 when I went in, and everyone saying, oh, get into electronics and communications. It's a way of the future, and the military will train you and all this. And so when I first went in, I was an infantry RTO, and yeah, okay, I guess I'm working in communications, but I didn't. I picked up on Morse code really quickly, and I was really good at it, and it got me into going. They sent me to crypto, and then I went in and ended up running security on brigade nets,
Hmm.
and doing the daily the crypto changes, making sure codes were right, and all this type of stuff back in the day when they did it old school, manually. And they also,
Annually, really?
yeah, really did
We
everything manually.
because as manually, yes, I had to do it manually too,
Yeah,
because we would get the crypto change every day, and we would
yeah,
have to go in there and do it on the machines. I was doing the
yep.
same thing.
We'd
Yeah.
we'd have to do all the little adjustment. We had this big black book, and you would pull out the day, and they
Hmm.
would update it, and you would get the day, and you would do all this stuff, and they sent me to typing school, and it was like, oh god, this is so boring, but I was pretty good at typing, and ended up being a blessing when you start writing, knowing how to
Yes.
type.
Yes.
And when I went to college, when I got out of the service and went to college, I wanted to major in partying and girls, and and I wanted easy credits, and so they said, well, humanities, take drama, take music appreciation, take theater and creative writing. Said all easy credits, and actually they were, but I really got to like it.
Right. Right. Well, I was going to say the Brass Brad consulting site isn't like a way for me to make a lot of money or anything, for sure not. It's really a way for me to help others,
Yeah,
because I just, so many times there's so much misinformation out there. And really, like if somebody comes to us and says, well, we need a show Bible, you know,
mhm,
then it's like we have the resources to do that. Because a lot of times in a show Bible, you might need graphics and all this other stuff. Um, and, we have that readily available to us.
mhm.
So it's just easier,
What a great
way
idea.
easier. Yeah. So we also do storyboards and all kinds of stuff. Now I don't do the storyboards personally. I
Mhm.
have a graphic artist uh, that is on our team that does the storyboards, and he's phenomenal. So he's the guy I use to do my storyboards. Like I'm getting ready to have him do storyboards for the Lighthouse.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely get that out there because independents really need that kind of a place to go for resources.
Yeah. Well, that's
And
great. I really appreciate that, Tom.
oh, you bet. And I think we're almost out of time here. Boy, this went really fast today.
You sure did. And I got to say, I'm really grateful to you and your team. Thanks for having me on today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, Kimberly, this was great to have you on today, and much more success to you. I just I think the world of you, and I'm really happy that what you're doing, and let everybody know what you can do. And oh, how sweet.
I was wondering when you're going to notice.
I didn't notice right away. No, I thought, what is she doing? Oh, just a typical guy. I'm totally oblivious to stuff.
No, that's great.
But anyhow, we'll do another show when you start progressing into whatever venture you're in, especially the Lighthouse, because I think it's a cool project. Let's let more people know about it and maybe get you more support on it. And
Thank you.
you bet. And I want to end the show today and by saying thank you, Kimberly Seilhamer, for being on the show. Amazing veteran entertainment professional, instructor, director, producer, creative force. And thank you for being on the Real Tommy Unleashed show today. And everybody, you stay safe out there, and we'll catch you on our next show.
All right. Thanks, Tommy. Thanks, everybody.
Oh, you bet. Thanks, Kimberly.
All right. Bye-bye.